Hello and good morning, students. You are welcome to another English class. We're still treating Unit 2, and this is the second lesson we're having in Unit 2. Well. So let's start as usual with our warm up before we even do the revision of the previous class. So, our warm up today is a proverb. What is a proverb, first of all? What do you understand by the word proverb? Okay? Proverb is just like a sentence or a saying that has a deeper meaning than what it looks like. So whenever you hear a proverb is like a sentence, a simple sentence, but usually it has deep meaning. And Kyrgyzstan, being the kind of place it is, I know that it has like rich culture, and I'm pretty sure there are so many proverbs in this country that if you are able to ask the older ones, they might be able to tell you. So today we are going to be looking at a proverb. The proverb of the day here says, "It's better to light a candle than curse the darkness." It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. So, do you know the equivalent of this proverb in Russian or Kyrgyz language? Have you ever heard this proverb before? It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Or perhaps there's a Russian or Kyrgyz version of it. Okay, so what do you think that it means? Do you understand the meaning? What do you think this proverb means? Let's talk for 2 3 minutes. Try to understand this proverb. What does it mean? It's better to light a candle than cause the darkness. Okay? Like I said at the beginning, proverbs are simple sentences or a simple saying, but has a very deep rooted meaning. Well, for me, I haven't heard this proverb before, but I think that simply what I can make from it is um, it is better to find a solution to a problem rather than sit and complain about the problem. For me, that is what I think it means. Okay? It is better to find a solution, no matter how little the solution is. It's better to stand up and find a solution to a problem than sit down all day and talk and whine about a particular problem. So this is what I think it means. But you can remember, if you can remember this proverb, I want you to ask older people at home if you can translate it into Russian, or if your parents are good English speakers, you can ask them, what does this mean, mom? What does this proverb means, that it is better to light a candle than curse the darkness? Okay, good discussion. Now back to the lesson of the day. Today, in lesson 2, we are going to be talking about the present perfect simple. The present perfect simple. But before we talk about that, remember, unit 2 is talking about personal identity. Personal identity. And remember, we said yesterday, your identity is how people see you, or how you are, who you are. What makes what will people see about you that they will know that it is you? So your personal identity just means you as a person, your entirety, everything about you. That's what your personal identity is. So no matter what we do in unit 2, remember we're still talking about personal identity. And I hope that all the tasks that you were given yesterday, you've been able to carry them out perfectly. So, present perfect simple. Let's dig in. Let's know what present perfect simple is, and let's see examples also. So, and remember, this is grammar. Okay, this is grammar. Present perfect simple. The last grammar we did was what? In unit 1 was modal verbs. I told you, always remember the last thing you do, the last thing you did, and build on it with the new one that you're learning. Never throw that one away. Remember what you did before and add the new knowledge you're having on top of it. Let the old one be a foundation for you. So do not just throw that one away. All right, let's go. What is the present perfect simple tense? What is the present perfect simple tense? Now, the pros. What do you know about perfect tense? So this is what present perfect simple tense tells us. Okay, the present perfect simple tense is used to talk about an event or a situation that took place in the past and is part of one's experience. It talks about what took place in the past that still affects one even till now. Okay, example, they have been to China. They have been to China. It is used to talk about an event or a situation that has just finished at the time of speaking. Example, I have just read the latest book from Harry Potter. Again, it is used to talk about an event or a situation that is finished at the time of speaking or has completely finished but is important now. Example, I see you have bought a new laptop. Okay, we have looked at all of these examples. There's something I want you to remember. The present perfect is made simply by using have or has plus the past participle. The past participle is is a form of verb, and you at the start, before you mention or before you write the past participle, you use has or have, then plus past participle. That is what gives you the present perfect. Okay? In other words, the present perfect tense is formed by using has or have plus the past participle form of a verb. Now, you can see here from this first example, they have been to China. Have is used with the past participle of be, which is been. Okay? You can see here also that have is used with the past participle of read, which is read. By the way, read and read have the same spellings, but you should know that here is the past participle of read, which is read. Also, the last example, I see you have bought a new laptop. You see, this is a past participle of buy, bought. So if you are making a present perfect simple, you use has or have plus past participle form of a verb. Now, the next question I know that you might ask is, when do we use has and when do we use have? Okay, so simply put, you can use you use has if you have if the word before the if the subject if the subject of the sentence is he, she, or it, then you can use has. You can say it has, she has, or he has. That is a form, that is a time, or that is a situation where you use has if the subject is he, she, or it. However, if the subject is I, we, or they, then you use have. Like in most of the examples here, you can see that here is they have, I have, and even when you use you have to use have. So with has, you have to use has with he, she, or it. And when you use have is when I, you, we, or they is the subject. Okay? Don't worry, there will be more explanation in a bit about the present perfect simple tense. The only thing I want you to take from this is that we make the present perfect or the present perfect simple tense with has or have plus past participle. Okay, we are gonna get more explanation now about this. Let's just take this 5 minutes to watch a quick YouTube video that explains further about the present perfect simple tense.
This lesson is about the present perfect. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to form a present perfect and when to use a present perfect. But before we get started, it's good to know how to conjugate the verb to have. For the singular forms, I have, you have, he has, she has, it has. And for the plural forms, we have, you have, they have. It's also good to know that in the English language there are regular and irregular verbs, and it is advisable that you study the most commonly used irregular verbs. Now let's get started. Take a look at these sentences. I've painted the door yellow. They've paid for dinner themselves. Both these sentences are in the present perfect tense. How to form a present perfect? Let's have a look at the regular verbs. For the regular verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. You can make a past participle by adding ed to the infinitive form of the verb. Now let's have a look at these singular forms. I have worked there. You have listened carefully. He has cleared the table. She has placed it on the floor. It has snowed. For the plural forms, we have walked to school. You have watched the tennis match. They have marked the tests. Now we need to pay extra attention to verbs that end in an E, such as live, close and wipe. For these verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but the past participle is made by simply adding a D to the verb. Look at the examples. I've lived here for quite some time now. He has closed the window. They have wiped the floor. We also need to pay attention to verbs that end in a Y, especially those preceded by consonants, such as spy and study, because we change the Y into an I. For example, he has spied on his neighbours, and we have studied hard. Now let's have a look at the irregular verbs. For the irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but for the irregular verbs, the past participle has a unique present perfect form. Take a look at the examples. I've built that shed with my own 2 hands. The infinitive form of the verb is to build with a D. She has bought some flowers at the market. The infinitive form of the verb is to buy. We have run the marathon. The infinitive form of the verb is to run. Now let's have a look at the present perfect in questions. First, for the regular verbs. Again, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. Has she talked to him yet? Have you kicked the ball? Have they ever worked on the farm? For the irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but now the unique present perfect form. For example, has she quit her job yet? Have you ever driven a car? Have they ever paid for dinner? Let's have a look at the present perfect in negations. For the regular verbs, again the auxiliary verb to have, and we add not, contracting it into haven't or hasn't and the past participle. I haven't listened to the news. It hasn't rained since Friday. They haven't closed the window. For the irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and not, contracting it into haven't and hasn't and the past participle. For example, she hasn't quit her job. The infinitive form of the verb is to quit. You haven't ever driven a car. The infinitive form of the verb is to drive. And they haven't paid for dinner. The infinitive form of the verb is to pay. Now let's have a look at the present perfect in use. We use the present perfect for things that happened in the past, but it is not important when they happened. I've been to Scotland. It's not important when I've been there, it's important that I've been to Scotland. They've decided to buy a car. It's not important when they decided it, the decision alone is important. We also use the present perfect for things that started in the past but that have continued in the present. For example, Bob and Jack have known each other for ages. For example, they met in the 1970s and they are still friends. They have lived there since 2011, so they moved there in 2011 and they've continued to live there. We also use the present perfect when the following words are in a sentence: for, yet, never, ever, just, already, since. Here are some examples. I've lived here for 3 years. We haven't seen that film yet. Have you ever watched a football game? I thank you for your attention. For regular updates, please subscribe to youtube.com/EnglishGrammarSpot or go to www.englishgrammarspot.com. Welcome to English.
Okay, so I believe the video that we've watched have helped us, or the video is able to make us understand better what we have learned. So right now we go into doing some activities according to what we have in class. Let's do some class work now. So let's look at exercise 6 in our books. So here we are going to use the present perfect forms to complete these sentences. Complete the sentences using the present perfect of the verb in brackets. Now look at an example here. I've made a lot of new friends this term. The verb is make and the present perfect form of it is have made. That's why the I and the have has been contracted to give you I've. Instead of I have, you can make a contraction to say I've made. So have made is the present perfect form of make. I've made a lot of new friends this term. So you should do this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which are 5 questions in all. I think we dash dash too much science homework this term. The verb is have. How do you change it to the present perfect form? 3. I dash dash new subjects like technology and design. The verb is enjoy. I am in the football team, but we dash dash any matches yet. The verb form that you need to change is not play. My friend dash dash in trouble with the head teacher. The verb form that you need to change to present perfect is be. Dash you dash the science labs? They are great. The verb form we need you to change to present perfect is see. So do that. Take 7 minutes to, in fact 5 minutes to do that. It's not really hard. 5 minutes is what you need. Remember the video you watched and what I said at the beginning, how to write the simple present, how to write the present perfect simple form. Take 5. So I assume that by now we're done with the classwork. Okay, now a correction will be done and it is as easy as you know. All right, for number 2, what is the correct answer? I think the verb is have. So have, what is the past participle of have? Of course it is had. So I think we have had. too much science homework this term. I have enjoyed new subjects like technology and design. I am in the football team, but we have played. Okay, the verb form is not play. So therefore it is I'm in the football team, but we haven't played any matches yet. 5. My friend have been in trouble with the head teacher. Now, the verb form is have, but you have two spaces here and there is a question mark. So this is a question. Have you seen the science lab? They're great. So these are the corrections for the work. Now, simply, we are going to talk about this because if you look at this class survey that we did in the class yesterday, look at the question form here. All these question forms are in the present perfect simple because of course you can see that we have that there's have and the past participle form of the verb in here. So all of these questions here that we have, they are all present perfect simple forms. So I want you to get a partner even right here and ask these questions to each other because it is a good practice for our present perfect simple sentences. Okay, so having done that now, we'll move on to the next thing, which is our homework. Our homework can be found in the workbook page 11. So in workbook page 11, go to your workbook page 11, open to the page, and there you will find your grammar work on what we've done today and answer the questions accordingly. So if you have any questions, you can ask, but this is what we're doing today. Okay, so the questions, get the questions ready for the next lesson.